Can you hear me, Jeanette?
I can. Hello.
You can. Good. I can barely hear you. Let me see if I can get it up.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Is that a Zoom background or is that where you're actually sitting?
No, it's a Zoom background, but that's where I work. And
oh, okay.
They captured that look, and then I kept it ever since.
It looks interesting is the reason I was asking.
Yeah, well, it's part of it is my green screen is off-centered, but it is downtown Raleigh in North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Is that where you live in Raleigh?
Yes.
Good, good. I have a brother that lives outside of there, so.
Oh, okay. We moved about. We were around the Clayton area, and then I decided Raleigh is just more active and and less farming.
Well, first, let me say, since it's just you and I on here right now, that I'm so excited to see so many of you young ladies in the business intelligence program, because typically it's more young men, and it's to be between you and me, my young ladies seem to do much better. And I'd really like to see you participating in this type of industry and learning. So I wanted to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. Yeah,
I'm going to start by asking you what questions you have for this week.
There are minor questions.
Okay.
I did see your email about the dates on that assignment.
Right.
I walked through it, not only with the lab, but also with the video, and I'm still just getting that 2017 solely. Like, I'm not getting any other dates.
Okay.
And I just don't know if there's another learning tool that helps me get closer to what he's saying we should see.
Okay, well, a bonus for you, since you're on the call today, I'm going to send you an email of the PBIX file of a completed lab that was correct, that you can upload into the Power BI so you can see all of the filters and everything that they put over on the right side for the filters of the Power BI, and you will be able to see exactly how they set that up. And
awesome.
Because it is not really clear in the instructions, and it's not really clear in that video that Microsoft put out either. So yeah. I know that that's an issue, and I'm going to trust that you'll use it to teach yourself and then go ahead and complete your own using it so that you learn how to do it, because you'll need it for the duration of this dashboard in a day.
Right. I didn't want to give you the impression of forget it. Here it is. Whatever you see, you see. I know there's a better way because he's showing it so easy.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why is mine different than his, even through all the little steps?
Well, I can tell you why. Microsoft puts out a monthly update to Power BI. I don't know why, but every month they change some of the features or how it looks. And every time they do that, it's not matching the screenshots that you're seeing in your instructions or the video that they made the month before. So they're always running a month behind in the videos. So sometimes it's really hard as fast as it's going to see what they're doing, and it's not matching in your workbook either. So that's why that is. It's not you by any stretch of the imagination. You're looking for it to look like they're showing you, and it's just simply not going to do that because they've probably made 2 updates to the system since then.
And yeah, and I mean, you've seen my my first assignment.
Mm-hmm.
I am new to not only the BI world, I'm new to whole data analytics world. So everything to me, somebody else might take 10 minutes. For me, it takes almost half a day because I go through the steps very slowly.
Don't let
So
them convince you that they're doing it in any shorter a time. They're not. They're people that think they know how to do it, rush through it so fast they miss the steps. So no, they're not doing it any faster than you.
So that's comforting to know, because in most cases I'm thinking, oh my God, this should not take me this long, but it helps me to go super slow, because
Right.
then I'm learning as well. Like the last assignment, that DAX threw me off completely, and then I Googled certain things and realized how he was doing the DAX, that whole formula.
Right.
But if I rush through it, I won't catch those little snippets.
And no one
So
is. No one catches those when they rush through it. A lot of them will email me and I'll be like, it's in number 63. And then they'll email me back and say, I skipped completely over one of the steps in there, because they think they know and they rush right through it and they miss something and they end up having to do it over again as well. So don't let anybody convince you that you're taking longer. If it took you a week to do it without help, then I need to help you a little bit more. Then that's on me. That's not on you. But no, don't think that way, and always reach out to me for that, because the updates make it hard for you to track the instructions and the screenshots with what you're looking for. So don't ever think that way.
No, I appreciate that, Dr. Vicki. This time around, I'm in the accounting world, so I'm introvert, extrovert. So I'm trying really hard to, network with my classmates. Otherwise, I would feel like it's professor and me, we walk together.
Right.
So I did incorporate a little of asking my other classmates.
Sure.
But I just, sometimes, I come from New York, so I like things in a New York moment. And when I don't get to hear back anything, I just move on. So I'm trying to network and incorporate a lot of things together.
Well, let me tell you, the details from the accounting world are going to serve you very, very well in this program. My first 2 degrees were accounting as well. So I can tell you firsthand.
I saw your bio and I was like, finally, someone who can relate to me. It's not about data. I just do numbers. That's all I know. But it is true. I was looking at your, which I have to say, I love all my professors going back to you present, but I like the way you showed us the bad, because sometimes the bad helps the good. And you showed those 2 videos on the capstone,
right?
Retrieving that solution from data from financials.
Right.
And I would have never thought of that, because a lot of times the professors give us good guides and good, scenarios, but sometimes the bad helps me to say, oh, I'm not going to do that then.
Well, thank you. I've not heard whether that was helpful or not. I put them out there. I ask students whether I can do that or not. And they say, sure, if it's going to help someone. But I was like, I hadn't heard yet whether it was helpful, but I hoped it would be.
It is helpful, because you made a perfect point. For some gentleman, he put down a QVC or one of those codes, QR codes.
Yes.
And and you made a point that we're not marketers. We are into the data. But looking at if I had looked at his example, I would have said, oh, cool, that's a great solution.
Right.
And so you showing the opposite, like, don't go in this direction, helps me. I'm a believer of, from people's mistakes wind up being my advantage points.
Well, thank you. I'll incorporate more of those. I just started that last month because we switched this particular course, data visualization. It used to be month 8. And we switched it to month 5 about 3 months ago. And we did that because the students, by the time they got to month 8, were saying, oh my goodness, if I had learned this stuff earlier, I could have used it and improved upon it before I got here. And so we rewrote the program and put it earlier. And I'm wanting to make sure that we can all learn from each other's mistakes, and that you learn what you need to in month 5, because if you keep building on all of your learning and using the feedback, shoot, by the time you turn your capstone in, and by the way, you turn it in week 2 of month 12. So you're really not working on it in month 12. So
Right.
what does that mean? That means if you're not adding to it as you go, you've got 2 weeks in month 12. And that
Yeah.
scares a lot of people. And then it causes them to lose a lot of ground, to be frustrated, like you say, and rush through it. But if you start now with all of this feedback, I believe that when I'm showing you how to visualize all this data and how to incorporate it into your capstone, I need to make it as clear as possible, the differences in what works in the capstone and what doesn't, because if you don't learn that now and let it sink in, I don't think you can grasp that in 2 weeks.
No,
So
not at all.
that's why I do that. If it seems like my feedback is lengthy, it's because I'm trying to give the examples and the feedback on each of your, like the capstone surveys and all of that, about why that was a good starting point, but not necessarily what we're looking for, because I want you to leave this course feeling like you really now have a pretty good idea of the difference between the data and the person that uses it.
Right.
That is
Right.
2 very different things. Like that QR code, I find a lot of times, I don't know how I'll still see it in month 8 when you get back to me in leadership. Sometimes people come to month 8 still using marketing or business development ideas instead of business intelligence, because the truth of the matter is we're in business intelligence. We take the data, we go through it, we point out, highlight trends and all of those things. We pass that on to someone else. They use that to make the decisions.
Right.
We don't need to recommend what they do with it. We just give it to them.
Right.
You know, I see
Right.
people saying, expand into China and do this and do that. No, that's not your decision to make. That's the decision maker's decision.
Right.
You tell them that sales are up and net income is down, so we're not matching the expenses to the revenue. What they do about that is up to them. We give them the dashboards and things, don't we, so they can see that and control that, but we don't tell them how to do that.
Right.
So you
And
provide the trends and the pictures of the trends to the boss, and the boss says, okay, we need to do this, that, and the other. So, and it's hard, sometimes it's hard because business is in front of intelligence. People want to mesh up and they start meshing up. You know, okay, I see the data. Everybody wants to go directly to how to increase sales. Well, that might not be the problem.
right. Yes.
You know? As long as everything else is moving in locksteps, the revenue is never the problem. So I wanted to make sure that everyone is clear on that. And you being in accounting knows that, you know, if expenses rise, the net profit's going to go down.
Yeah.
No matter
Yeah.
what the revenue's doing, if the revenue goes up 5%, but the expenses go up 10, oh, your net profit's less.
Right.
So we've
Right.
got to show them that that's happening, and show them that in the data that it's happening, and tell them they're not matching the trends in the revenue to the expenses, so they can do that. So,
Right.
I mean, it's really good to have someone else in accounting that understands that what I'm talking about, because you're like me, I'm about the numbers.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
emotion in the numbers, are they? They are what they are. You know, debits have to match credits, you know, the assets
Right.
have to match. I mean, it is what
Right.
it is. No emotion in it. We do the accounting, don't we? We don't tell the boss whether to expand in China
No.
or to implement QR codes. Between you and me, you can imagine how silly that sounds to us accountants when somebody says,
Yeah.
here's your financial statements, let's implement QR codes.
Yeah. Yeah. And usually I see that and I'm thinking on the payables, if I wore the payables hat, no, stop spending. Stop spending. I mean, you don't think marketing because they always spend.
Yes.
But it gave me a great perspective because I'm back in school for many, many years.
Right.
So, you know, there's the academia part of putting more information. You know, I know in work, I get to the point, this is what it looks like, and then I walk away. But here, you know, we have to present things. So I know I did well in grade, but I struggled with my EDM class and my technology class because I don't wear the IT hat, and I don't see myself ever wearing the IT hat, if that makes sense.
No, you won't ever do that.
Okay.
I think with
So,
the EDM and the IT, again, the line gets blurred by what we mean by that, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah.
the data warehouses and all of those things that we're talking about in EDM, that's actually part of data science instead of business intelligence. Data science are the ones that do all of that with the data warehouses and how the data comes in and they extract, transform, and load. That's things that it's good that you know how that happens and you're familiar with it, but that's what the data scientists are doing, not you. So as long as you have a general concept, if you could draw me a picture that says data comes in here, it goes into this, they mash it all up and make it in a form and a language that the computer understands, and it comes out down here. And down here is where you get it in business intelligence. None of that really matters as long as you know that's how it got to you.
But I guess my question is, somehow, some way, we're going to have to incorporate that because we've learned it in our capstone.
No, you don't have to. If what you've located as the challenge, if it doesn't include the fact that, let's say that you determine your company doesn't have a data warehouse, so there's no data coming out the bottom into the Microsoft Power BI. Yes, you would have to mention that maybe the company needs to add a data scientist and create the EDM process, because they don't even have that to get the data in workable form to you. So if you determine that's the issue, yes, you would. But if you determine, like we said, that expenses are increasing by 10% while revenue is increasing at 5%, that has nothing to do with a data warehouse. If they're already producing data, which in this program they are, because they have to be, they're publicly traded and they have financial statements.
Right.
If they're already producing that, a solution to that challenge is not in the data warehouse. It's providing visualizations in real time to the decision makers so they can match their expenses daily to the trends in revenue. So that's as simple as that. That has nothing to do with the data warehouse.
Okay.
So no, you do not have to implement that at all unless that's the direction you want to go in and you want to say this particular company does not effectively collect data in the first place.
Right.
And
right.
there's a lot of private companies that really don't, they have a lot of data coming in, but they don't collect it and do anything with it.
Oh, that's where I work now.
So
I'm in
if you were
engineering
if you were writing,
I do have an aha moment though, because of you professors. We had a meeting, we had to debrief because they had us look into smart sheets. We have no data warehouse. We have no data analytics. The CEO has never even thought about this. I sat in a Zoom room talking about, the data knowledge that you guys are, feeding me. And I mean, everyone was listening and everyone was, in fact, tomorrow we have a meeting on Power BI. They're going to have it explained. Well, how can it work? So I'm scared because I only know as much as you guys have shown me, but that's a good moment. It's like the education is coming into reality in this sense.
That gives me chills because that's the whole point, isn't it? You shouldn't have to wait till the end of month 12 to have knowledge that you can use. If we're not teaching you something every week that you can talk about tomorrow, we have failed you in some way. So, that would be on us. So you should be accumulating this knowledge, even if it's from a high level. And I'm proud of you that you felt confident enough to say, listen, I now know that we have all of this information coming in that we're not using. And now, so if you were writing a proposal to your company instead of one through this capstone, that would include a data warehouse, or something like that if they wanted to do that. So you could do that. Now, yes, Microsoft Power BI, you do not have to have a data warehouse because they may be just wanting to use, sales and expenses and those things. So, but if they wanted a full-fledged and wanted to expand, eventually they're going to need a data warehouse and data marks where they can collect all of those things. But then you would say that wouldn't be, that part wouldn't be something I could do. I could guide a team doing it, but we would need a data scientist.
Right.
So,
Right.
but I'm proud of you for doing that, because you obviously are confident enough and know enough that they realize that it's something that needs to be considered.
Right.
So
And
that is
it's
fantastic.
amazing.
That
Yeah.
made you feel good, didn't it?
It did. I'm still on adrenaline because I have the IT director who's rarely in conversation with us. And he actually initiated a Zoom call tomorrow, Teams call tomorrow to discuss, you know, him actually getting the pro.
Right.
Because right now they're using free, you know, company-based one. But if he finds reason that we need the pro, he wanted that, you know, feedback.
Well, by the time you get to the week 4 in this program, so you might want to look ahead, because week 4 you'll be able to see that if you have the pro, you're going to be able to create an app with just a few clicks of a button with your visualizations. You're going to be able to create an app that all of the employees can have, showing just the stuff you want them to see on their phones or their devices. And that's something that the pro version offers that the other ones don't. So you'll be creating one of these yourself in week 4. So you're going to see just how aha that is, because all your work you'll be able to take as in your position with BI, push over the pictures on your dashboard that you want with that information and send it to different departments, the receivables or the payables, for them to see what they need to see. And I'm telling you what, your people are going to be excited about that. And if you need to, reach out to me before that, and I will shoot you a couple videos so you can show them just real short videos of how that works. So you can say, we can get each department an app that they only see the data they need, and it's usable, and they'll be thrilled. And you can show them that.
I would love that because first, the CFO, she's been in peer groups, and the peer group have been saying how they've been using and going forward with Power BI. And then she asked me, you know, specifically in my learning. And I told her that. She was like, okay, then you and I need to sit together. And maybe
I'll send them to you then, because you'll be able to tell her of how that you'll be able to narrow it down to what information you want each department to be able to see to make decisions every day in real time. And I'll send that to you as soon as we get off of here too, so that you can look at them. They're short, so that you can look at them and be able to show them to them and know what they're going to see.
Right. That's awesome.
And they know you're at school when you can tell them, here in 2 more weeks, I'll be creating one, and then show them what you created. Say, see how easy this was? I'm just in month 5 and I did this for your company, that company that you did. And they'll be thrilled about that. So you'll be able to show them that.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is where I wanted to be, where I was giving more input than, you know, how much our budget is. For me at this point, accounting is a bit old. I've been doing it, you know, for the point of it's a comfort zone. And I know it's time to go to that next level.
You know, now how can we use that same information, you know, to drive the decisions to take organizations to the next level? And you'll find that exciting, because there's always room for that. Always, always, always. Even with Amazon or Microsoft, or there's always, even I can look at any set of financial statements for any company, no matter how well they are running, and probably within 10 minutes with those apps I shared with you, and pull it up on that app that I have given you on your phone, and I can look and see and point out 3 challenges that they could solve with business intelligence. And when you're able to do that, which you're getting close to already, then you'll really know that you're on top of your game. And you could go out and consult with any business. You could go out and consult with businesses that aren't publicly owned, because now you know what you're looking at.
Right.
So I mean, that's fantastic.
Perfect. Yeah, I feel like maybe a student that said that to you. I'm glad this was the next class. I think I would have been disappointed too because I was struggling a little bit in FBI.
Right.
And a lot of my other classmates are familiar with it. In fact, I think Kasisi and Danielle both use it in their jobs, and I didn't. So I struggle like how to get my fields and so on forth. So this class is just really prompting me faster than waiting, you know.
Well, to make you feel better, Danielle had the same 2017 only year issue as you did. So, it's only as how people are familiar with it, they're finding out they're familiar in the big picture. They're not familiar with, what we're trying to get you to see. And that's the reason I use this dashboard in a day, because actually I took that course in a day, all of it that you're doing in 4 weeks in 8 hours. And I was so thrilled by it, because it took me I did that so I could teach Power BI in this course. It was my suggestion to
Right.
Power BI for the whole program after I did that, because I was so impressed. Because it took me from knowing very little about it to how to do anything I needed to, including building an app, in 8 hours. And I thought, well, if I can put that in as my discussion board over 4 weeks, and they really dig in, man, they're gonna really be good at this.
Right, right.
So
no, it's working. It's really working. The 2017, just a little hiccup, but I can press on. I can press on.
Yeah, I'll send you that PBIX file so that you can upload it into your own and see exactly what filters they're talking about, and then just duplicate what they did, and you'll see exactly what it is.
Okay.
And then let me know how that felt, and did that work for you?
Okay, definitely. And then it is a split. Like I think the PDF, the 1 and 2 sort of go in together, but he cuts it off. He cuts his video. So I should stop at the point where he stops, correct, for tonight's assignment?
Stop at the point the PDF says for this one stops.
Oh, okay.
Or close to it. I don't care. As long as you're where you need to be by the end of these 4 weeks and you're completely done with all of it, I care more about that, so that you're comfortable with it. You stop for tonight wherever you're comfortable.
Okay.
As long as you get it all done by the end of the 4 weeks. That's really all I care about, because I want you to really feel good about what you're doing and understand the steps, not rushing to just get it done by tonight. As long as you're progressing and I feel like you're going to complete the whole dashboard in a day, I'm more interested in you taking your time and learning that.
Okay. That answers all my minor questions. So.
Okay. All right. What else can I do for you? What was your company again?
It's Stewart Engineering in Raleigh, and it's a small firm. It's probably the smallest I've worked for in a long time, but I chose this. I wanted a little break from the 1,000 plus industries and companies.
Yes.
But there's so much potential here. There's been so many times I put out my resume and then I retract it, because there's so much that they can grow and do things differently. But I needed this because I can't really explain anything in accounting yet. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
But if I can show them this, it might, take them to another level at this point.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point of what we're wanting you to learn, is how to take an organization from wherever they are and take them to the next level, or help them even stay in business. Right now, there's so many organizations just hanging, aren't they? And maybe we can show them things. If they use this data correctly in something as simple as Power BI, they could possibly stay in business. And that's how important what you're learning is. So yes, stay thinking about it as you are, about taking companies to the next level, because it's more exciting to be on the beginning level like you are in a company that has so far declined than somebody that's already gone as big as they want to be.
Yeah.
So it's good to be a big player in a company that's wanting to grow like you are right now. So that's a fantastic place to be. And even after this program ends, I'd like you to let me know how you talking with them and all of that about this goes, because I'd like to see how far you take that.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And being that, as you said, there isn't a program or a curriculum where we can have a professor such as yourself be a mentor. Is there a particular course or direction that leads us to?
If you want someone to be a mentor in your program, you reach out to one of the professors, with an email or something and say, that you would like them to be a mentor and what you think you would need in a mentor, sort of like the qualities that you outlined when you were in mastery, and let them know what you think that they could provide to you and why you think that particular person would be a match for what you're looking for, and just reach out and do that. Some of our programs, like the gaming program in month 5, you have to pick a mentor in month 5. But then they're the only one that guides your capstone. We still, all of us, stay involved in your capstone, so we don't just assign you or let you pick a mentor and everyone else back away. But we do allow students to reach out and ask one of us to be a mentor and all of those things. So that would, yes, you're more than welcome to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's perfectly fine. I've had several before do that. And one of my students that graduated 4 months ago, I wrote him a letter of recommendation, and he got a job as a business intelligence analyst senior just 2 weeks ago in a school district in Virginia. And he is so excited, and his and I personality matched, and he was like you in the fact that he was in a school district, a smaller one, and was, school districts are messed up, and he was trying to help them, and he got the BI position in there, and then he progressed on in 2 more months and is the senior BI analyst for them. So, I mean, I'm still working with him, to this day. So, it's very important that you do make the most of your resources, for sure.
Yeah, that's encouraging. Like I said, it takes me a bit to reach out because when I do, it just feels awkward for me. But then when that connection happens, it helps me to the next level, especially with Power BI, who, if anyone can assist, and I am super happy because it's.
Oh, I understand. I just finished our gaming program here at Full Sail myself, and it was something new to me. I'm a mobile gaming engineer now, and
wow.
Since it was something I had never done before, I felt like I was at a disadvantage. All these other people had done it and all of this, and I had never done it. And I connected with an instructor early, very early, and he and I worked together all the way to the end because he knew I felt at a disadvantage. And he said I really wasn't. I just felt like I was. And we still work together. I help him build classes. He says mine look different when they open the FSO than his. We're still working together. He wanted to know, how come the box in the middle of my screen where the overview and all that is blocked out versus the sides, and no one else's are. And so he helped me with the gaming, and I'm helping him with how he builds his courses.
That is nice. That is nice. But I do have to tell you, I'm keeping you on my top list because there's so many aspects that are common for me that it's relatable. It's relatable. And I love all the professors so far. Everyone has been wonderful with me and patient with me. But sometimes I do need that, that mentor that can put me under their wing and say, okay, you're going the right way or you're not. Sure. take that other right.
Absolutely.
Basically.
Absolutely. We all need that sometimes. When you're an online student, you're so disconnected from the whole process sometimes. And you do feel a little disjointed and separated from your individual learning needs. And it's hard to know if we're meeting each individual's needs if they're not letting us know that they need something a little different. So don't ever feel bad about that. We have all of the instructors in this program do definitely care. They're passionate about whether you learn and feel successful or not. There's some programs maybe not so much, like the gaming one, but I really appreciated my peers. Oh no, I appreciated the people in my department after I went through that. Ooh. So no, reach out to any of us, and regardless of who you pick as your mentor, you can always reach out to any one of us that you think may have the strength in that particular topic that you need a little push with, or if you just want one of us to review an assignment or something that you're working on to see if you're in the right direction. You want a second set of eyes or something like that.
Right. That is perfect. So if I can leave with this call, I would love that, Power BI
absolutely
help, extra help.
I will do that.
And then and then those videos to maybe have a better conversation with my the management team and see how I can sound like a business intelligent person.
Well, right. And take my phone number and keep it with you, because if you just want to reach out to me and say, hey, you know, I'm getting ready to go into the meeting, or they had a couple questions I might need some help with, text me and I'll call you back and I'll point you in the right direction so that you have the information that you need.
Wonderful. Dr. Vicki, you've been a lifesaver. Thank you.
No, thank you, honey. It's the joy of my life to be able to teach people to be successful. And it feels even better when one like you is really catching on and feels excited about what they're learning.
Yes, today, if any day, it clicked with me and I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I didn't have to talk about like tools and warehouses, so it was very exciting to talk about just BI, basically.
No, I get it. I get it. That just took a load off your shoulders. There's no way. You know,
Yes.
the EDM process is almost a degree in of itself. So that's just how detailed that is, and why that you don't really need to do that if it's not necessary.
Wonderful. So I think those were all my questions. I believe from those tutorials, I kind of have direction on the capstone survey.
Okay.
So I'm just taking it to the very closer to the point of it being due, because I still looking at the financials, and I'm
No.
still
Even if you need more time, all that really is for me to give you feedback continuously through this course so that it helps you with the week 4 course project. So if you don't, you're not going to lose points if you don't have it done by the end of week 2. I go back and adjust your grades on that survey if you've implemented my feedback in the week 4 project. So
okay.
it's a process. I'm more worried about you learning it than the date on the top of that page.
Gotcha. Okay. That's helpful, so I don't rush.
No, I don't want you to rush. Grace before grades.
Nice. I like that.
just hang on to that, right?
Yes, I'm going to use it too.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And if you need anything else, let me know. And as soon as we get off here, I'll send you that information.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. You have a great day.
You too.
All
Take
right.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Maybe he's really good.